welcome everyone. This is Jonty Yamisha. Today is January 12th. This is our A0 Introduction to Circassian class for people in North America. And something I'm going to start doing, I'm going to start each class, instead of doing a review of the slides, I'm going to have a short conversation with students. And this kind of gives people a chance to enter the class while we're still getting set up. And it gives us a chance to use what we're learning in a real conversation rather than just looking at some cartoon pictures of some right? So we did Noor, we did Albert, we did Spara. Let's go to George.
Mr. Janti?
What that was shit Noba?
Noba سس خرزنش وبسو وش جانتي؟
Sarisa خرزنش. اللحم يشكرتش. Thank God. اللحم يشكرتش سس وزنشش. I'm healthy. George.
خونش.
George وعد ويئة.
انت سعد سياش.
ويادم
عبيت إليش.
إليش. Wow. صداقش. Nice name. صداقش. Anari ويئة.
Ellie. In English, Ellie.
Ellie. Anari ويئة.
Anri سياش. عبيت نيكولش. Nicole.
و زقوش زشبخ ويئة.
خوشيت. خوشيت سياش. Mark يتشي and تشيكا.
Wow. So
Mark يتشي Carl.
Whoopso. Amana sipchdisha, my golden daughter. Sipchdisha. Don't worry, Amana. Don't worry, Maydeen. I got something for you. Dao shit, Amana.
Sosha.
Ochono. Tamam. Tamamsh. Amana wa baba wi'a. Ada wi'ash. Wiyadam yitzarsit.
I don't know what you said.
Baba wi'a. Do you have a father?
Oh, yeah.
Ada wi'a. Ada is father in Circassian. Baba is what you call me. So Ada wi'a. Inta ada si'ash. So if I ask you if you have a father, I say Ada wi'a. And you have a father. I happen to know him very well. He's a very handsome guy. Smart and modest too. So you would say Ada si'ash. Whoa, the audio just broke up there. Ada si'ash. Si'ash. Okay. Wiyadam yitzar sit. Wiyadam yitzar tambi. Hawa. Wiyadam yitzar Ramzi. Hawa. Wiyadam yitzar Janti. Khunsh. We'll come back to you. Maydeen.
I try to unmute myself using my keyboard, but then I panicked because I forgot how to. Sit.
Sipr, Lapa, my esteemed daughter. So when we talk to people in Circassian, we always, if we want to be nice, we can say, Albert, Siqosh Disha, Siqosh Lapa, Albert, my brother, my Thapa means expensive or valuable, but it also means esteemed, right? And it sounds like a fancy formal word, but it's very common to say this to people. So, right? So you can use this for anybody. And even if you don't know them that well, but you want to say like, hey, I'm being friendly, you can say this. And there's no, it's like, it's not overly personal and it's not overly formal. Okay. So, Medine.
Sit.
Siph, Thapa. Daoshit.
Sasa tamam wadawashit.
Sarisa tamams. Wa ana wi'a.
Inta. Ana yitsa dinash.
Wiana mitzar dinas.
Inta.
Ar Turk.
Hawa.
Ar Wurus.
Hawa.
Sitar.
Ad. Digga.
Ara digas. Pez. Whoopso. Medine. Wa za shipch za delch wi'a.
Can you repeat that again?
Wa za shipch za delch wi'a.
I don't know.
Sasosha minimum za delch wi'ash abiyitzer wasman. Sasosha wa shipchuish wi'ash. Shipchuit wi'ash. So what do you think is delch?
Brother.
Brother. What do you think is shipch?
Sister.
So if I say wa shipchui'a, wa delchwi'a, it's not grammatically incorrect, but it sounds like they are an object that you possess and you have it in your hand and you stuck it in your pocket, right? So when we're talking about relationships, it's nicer for us to say wa zadelch ya or zashupwi'a. So it's kind of like saying, do you have a relationship with a sister? Do you have a relationship with a brother? And remember, brother for a girl is always delch, and brother for a boy is always wash. Okay. George, you have a question?
Yeah, really quick. So because your sound cut off, so I couldn't hear the other way you said for when you have like a person in a relationship.
So
how do you
when
say
we
that?
say zaqash, zadelch, zashuph, it's kind of like saying, are you in a relationship with a brother? Are you in a relationship with a sister? Otherwise, if we say, do you have a brother? It almost sounds like, or a sister, like it's an object that you own, that you possess, that you stick in your pocket, which is not how we think of human relationships.
Okay, right. Okay.
Medine.
Oh, that's really interesting because in Georgian there's something similar. That's cool. Okay.
Cool. Medine, wa zadelch zashupch wi'a.
Inta.
Yatzchersit. We delchum yitzar Robert.
Hawa.
We delchum yitzar sit.
Wait, how do you say brother again?
Delch.
Deh. Wait.
Delch.
Deh.
Delch.
Deh.
Delch.
Death.
Again. Delch.
Death.
Delch.
Desh.
Good.
So desh we said was manch.
We delchum yitzar was manch. Pej. Satanai.
Danawsha Janti
Sakharzinus. What dawshet?
Zaharznash.
We dejja no bokwaba. Kwaba. Hamasha'a. Takshash. Takshash.
Chicago Yafada.
Yahwadakam. انت شيكاغو يخدكم. ستناي وهو أبزاخ.
سش أربسة سد
وتصرب صوصة وهو بزاخ
أبا
نخبم سسيادم يشب سسيادة يشب خمشش أبزاخش. Most of my father's sisters' relatives, they're married into Abazak family. So Abazak people, I love Abazak people. Satanai, what hawasawia? What hawasawia?
ها
Hawasawiash.
حوسر سيش
Sha
وسر
ha wusa.
حوسر سيش
So spouse means someone that your head is with. Hawasa.
حوسر سيش
Abi yitzar sit.
يتصر تنبي
Abi yitzar tambish.
أبي يتصر تنبيش
Tambi wuris.
حوا
Tambi harab.
حوا تنبي أدغ
Adigash.
أدغش
Tambi adigash. Wapso satanai. Rakan.
ست
What thou was shit noba?
دوشت.
Alhamdulillah.
الحمد لله.
What dano sha'a?
تورونتو كندا.
Toronto. Noba, Toronto sha'a. Hamakwaba.
شدد.
Sha'adidas. Rakan, wa zaqash zashub khwi'a.
انطى.
Yatsachar sit.
again.
Yatsachar, ya there. Tsachar, names. Yatsachar, sit.
رعد إتشي تينا إتشي تارا.
Ra'ad hamra riyad.
رعد.
Ra'ad, yichi, khat.
تينا
Tina, yichi,
إتشي تارا.
tarah. Akhiri, Toronto, sha'a.
again.
Akhiri, are they also Toronto, sha'a? Are they also in Toronto?
How do I say one is in Toronto and the others are not?
Z Torontum sha'ash.
زي
Z Torontum sha'ash.
تورونتو شاش.
Wapso. Zanshawa.
Husapshi Janti, that was it.
What if for Khosapshi? Advanced speaker. Look at that. Khosapshi.
No.
Sakharzinash was in Shagasi ash. What then was sha'a?
Sa California or San Francisco, Sashash.
San Francisco was sha'ash. Noba widejja khwaba hamasha'a.
Noba Shash.
Noba sha'ash. Zanshawa wa ana wi'a.
Nta Sa Anasi Ash.
Abi yitzar sit.
Si Ana Yitzar Christinash.
Wianam yitzar Christinash.
Rihanna.
Christina adigabza chapsa thafara.
Hawa.
Sallafarkum.
Oh, how do you say it?
Sallafarkum.
Sahlafirkam.
Do you know what the word for grandfather is?
Adashwa.
Adashwa. We adiga adashwam yitzar sit.
Say that again.
We adiga adashwam yitzar sit.
Yitzar. So Sa Adiga Adashwa Yitzar. Yeah, I said that right, didn't I?
You did?
Yeah, Nicholas.
Nicholas.
Yeah.
We adiga adashwam yitzar Nicolist. Nicolist. And I say that because I assume he's passed on.
Yes.
So because he's no longer with us, we put him in the distant past. So if he were still alive, so for example, my father is still alive. Siyadam yitzar samish. Siyadam yitzar samish. My father's father, his name was also Westman. My son's name is Westman. My grandfather's name was Westman. His grandfather's name was Westman. We like the name Westman. So my grandfather is no longer with us. So I would say, Abi Yitzar Westmant. Westmant. I put him in the distant past. Okay. Berzej.
So Janti.
Sikwashtusha.
So
Dawshit.
Zanchus shit.
Zanchushit. We shit.
Oh,
So we say in Circassian, Dawshit, it literally means, how are you standing? So I told him, Joker, last semester, when sometimes somebody asks me, how are you standing? I say, I'm standing on my feet. Right? You know, when I joke with my son, I say, hey, and then he doesn't answer me, hey, so I call him, instead of gold, I say, my son Golden, my golden son. He doesn't answer me, hey, my silver son. He just still, now he knows I'm joking with him. Hey, my copper son. I keep going down in the metals. Berzej, what zaposh zashuphuia
Sa Kwashit Siash.
yatsachersit
Tsukur Yitzer Nerzanch. I Sikwash Nakhij Yitzer Tamish.
tamers rashi wa posh nakhij wias itzi posh nakhij wias.
Nakhusha. Nta.
Satanai Ishaq, do you know what I just said to Berzej?
He has an older brother and a younger brother.
Correct. So how do we say, Sarah? How do we say older brother?
I know the word for brother is dalch, but I don't know what older, how you would say older.
Nakhij.
Nakhij. So
Nakhij.
dalch nakhij.
Delch nakhij. And how would we say younger brother?
I don't know the word for younger.
Nakhusha.
Nakhusha.
Yeah, so nach means more. Is old. Sa is younger. So nakhij, older. Nakhusha, younger.
Okay.
Okay. All right. Ola, Margarita, are you guys available to talk?
Yep.
All right. Dawshit, Margarita.
Salam Janti. Harzina Shupso. Awari Darshan.
Sarisa Kharzanash. What then was Sha'anoba?
Noba New York Sasha.
New York, Noba Khwaba, Hamas Sha'a.
Sha'ash.
Dari didej just Sha'ash Noba. What Zadelch Zashuphuia?
How sa Zadel za
Shuph.
Shupr Sasha.
Sa Zashuph Zadelch Zirisi Aqm. Sasapkhozakwas. I'm an only daughter. Khozakwa. We don't say only child. We would say I'm an only son or I'm an only daughter. Wiyanam yitzar sit.
Si Anam Yitzer Lalita.
Aji ajit. Say again.
Si Anam Yitzer Lalitash.
Lalitas. Lalitas. Aritz Adakash. It's a beautiful name as well. Whoopso. Whoopso. Ola di shuph.
Sit Janti.
What thou shit noba?
Ada what did this? What thou shit?
Zarisa tamam whoopso. What وزن شاغة ويا.
That's brother.
وزن شاغة is health.
Oh, okay. وزن شاغة ويا. تدش.
وزن شاغة.
وزن شاغة ويا.
سياش. وزن شاغة وياش. أخشى كود ويا.
أخشى كون سياش.
أخشى كود ويا. Wow, you have a lot of money, huh?
Not a lot of money, but we're good.
وو قلي حما وفقرة. قلي أخشى كود ويأما وو قليش. أخشى ماشا ويأما وو فقرش.
سسا قلي. Did I say that right?
قلي.
Yeah.
So who knows what قلي means?
Good or a lot?
Wealthy. Rich.
Oh.
قلي. قلي. You got the mule, you have the gule. And it comes from Arabic. I know a lot of you speak Arabic. So what does faqra mean?
Poor.
Poor. Faqra. Okay. Maya's not able to speak today because she's wrapping up work. So that's a little warm-up exercise. Let's go now to the official class. And like I said, what I'm going to start doing is before each, hang on. I think you guys are seeing too much. Hang on, let me stop this. Not too much, just I'm trying to just share the screen so you guys don't see like all the video imaging and mirror stuff. So like I said, I'm going to start each class off with a very simple set of conversations like that. Instead of a review of the slides, I think having a conversation about your life, your family, things that are important to you, it's going to make the language be something easier for you to put into context and make real. Okay, so give me a second here. All right. Who's this guy? Who's this guy on the screen? What's this guy's name?
وسمانش.
وسمان شعلة حمراء وسمان خجبز.
How
وسمان شعلة. لا دوسة. داس شعلة ترميناترش. فري في persona في أش. You all have your characters, your personas. في persona في أش. بصومي ففي persona خرفة في شجرة. Do you all remember your personas? Okay. They clinch. We'll see. They clinch. So we all know this. In the warm-up, we kind of covered a lot of this stuff. Again, instead of if we say that too often, you guys are going to think you're just going to be programmed to spit out a sequence of sounds. That's why do you have a mother? Do you have a father? What's your father's name? What's your mother's name? Do you have brothers? Do you have sisters? Right? Who remembers from last class when I say what does that mean?
Where are you from?
Where are you from? And it doesn't mean where were you born? It doesn't mean like where did you grow up? It really means where's your family from? So if I ask Albert, what then was shush?
Kafkazim.
Kafkas. Well, Kafkas was shush. His father was born in the Caucasus. He was born in Jordan. He lives in the United States, but he's Kafkas shush. I'm Syrian shush. My father was born in Syria, right? My daughters are also Syria shush. I don't know when it ends. You know, we were in Nalchik last summer and my wife and I took our kids to Temiris Cafe, very famous cafe restaurant. And it's a Turkish repatriate Circassians who own that cafe. And my wife said, we're going to go to this cafe. Oh, who owns it? My son said, Adiga Guarakar Turkim Shish, Circassians who are from Turkey. And I said to my wife, I said, these people came in 1989. That's 40 years ago, 30 years ago. Their children now have children. How long are they going to be Turkim Shish? You know, I don't have an answer for this. So we'll continue on. Again, that conversational stuff. These are notes from the last class. Okay, so everyone come off mic, come off mute. Everyone come off mute. Class.
Sit.
Sit.
Sit. Class.
Sit.
Alır adigas.
Inta.
Ooh.
Dap sorry the adigas. We're all Circassian. Alır adigas. Okay, we went through the nationalities. We kind of got, these are easy, right? Harap is Arab, Adiga, we all know Adiga. American, American, Yinjiliz, English. These are not such hard words to learn. And I'm not going to go through this because we went through the warm-up exercise. So we're going to continue on. Achadokwa. Class.
Sit.
Sit.
Alır mapsatla.
Ooh.
Alır mapsatla. Mapsatla. Alır mapsatla. Class.
Sit.
Alır psatla.
Inta.
Mapsasha.
Alır mapsatla.
Mapsasha.
Alır mapsatla. Nur.
Sit gentil.
Wo psatla.
Egyptian says psatler.
Mta. Yijiri khat psatla Egypto.
Wari psatler.
Kaj. Sari so psatla.
I shaler psatler.
Alri mapsatla. Kaj. Alri.
Shaler
And also. Alri. And also. Alri mapsatla. Albert.
Dit.
Fara Egypto psatla.
Houwe. Houwe psatler.
Hawa, Paj, Fara Egypto psatler. Khat Egypto psatla.
Wari sari de psatler.
Wari sari dizo psatla.
Dizo psatler.
Dizo psatla. Dizo psatla. So let me think. Did I take some notes on this? Yeah. So Albert, he used an advanced phrase, right? So we right now we're just saso psatla, wowo psatla, arma psatla, right? But if two people are speaking, da do psatla. Kind of makes sense. Sa so psatla, I speak. We is da do psatla, right? So in the next couple of classes, we're going to go into this verb, right? And we're still in the story, but I'm going to give you guys all the forms of, not all, most of the forms of this verb. And the reason is, once you understand the forms of a few verbs, all the verbs snap into place. They become really easy to understand. And one thing that has been remarkable to me is that all of you speak Circassian. All of you speak Circassian. You all speak more Circassian than you think you speak, but all of you have some hesitation, some fears, some concern. Satanai probably speaks more Abazak than she even realizes, and we're forcing her to speak Kabardian. God bless her. And part of that is that the verbs can be complex. And the reason the verbs are complex is because of all these little pieces that go into them. All of you probably know the word psasha, to speak, psashan, to speak. But a lot of you probably struggle with saso psasha, wowo psasha, arma psasha, right? So we're going to go in depth with one verb in the context of this story. And as we get a few verbs under our belts, it's going to become very natural and very normal for us to speak lots of more verbs, okay? So, sasopsasha, wowopsasha, Farah, how do I say you and I? How do I say we speak? How do I say we speak?
Da
Dopsasha.
Psatla.
Yes, da dopsasha. Correct. Maydeen, you have a question?
How do you say my?
Si.
See?
Mhm.
Okay, thank you.
Siada, my father. Siana, my mother.
That's what I thought, but I wasn't sure, so I figured I'd just ask.
Always ask. So now, dopsasha, we are speaking. Now, what this means, you are speaking and I am speaking. Maybe we're speaking at the same time, but we're not listening to each other. Maybe we're speaking at the same time, in different locations. Okay, so if I want to say we are speaking together, we are speaking with one another, to each other, we are exchanging a dialogue. All right, what I say is the dizopsasha. 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 Okay, this is advanced. I'm just giving you guys a sneak preview, but we can go back to this for a little bit. Albert opened the door, so it came up in the last class too. So, George,
Sejjanti,
Egyptu fara psachara.
هو Egypto بساخر
Taj, Egyptu psacharkam. Aler psachara.
شعالر انت شعالر مبساخر
Taj, shaler mapsachla. Shaler mapsachla. Satanai.
انت
Wish hawasser tambi. Wish hawasser tambi. Egyptu psachara.
حوا يجب ستوب ساشرقم.
Taj, Egyptu what sarkam. I don't know. Maybe he's in another room speaking, but I believe you. Taj, Egyptu psacharkam. What did I ask you?
Is my husband speaking right
Correct.
now?
Correct. Correct. Zanshawa.
Sejjanti.
Chat Egyptu psachara.
Egypt's two sasupsachla. Ichi wawupsachla.
Taj. Wawopsachla. Sasopsachla. Taj. Berzej.
Sejjanti.
Dad psachara.
انت دادو بساشلة.
Dadopsachla. Dadopsachla. Da dizopsachra.
عريباج
Dizopsachla.
زو بساشلة انت.
Taj. Rakan.
ست.
Chat Egyptu psachara.
يجبتو سبساشا ووبساشا شالر مبساشا.
Taj. Sasopsachla. Wawopsachla. Egyptu shalri mapsachla. Egyptu Albert psachra.
حوا يجبتو ألبرت بسا شرقم.
Taj. Egyptu Albert psachrkam. Medin.
Sit.
Shalem yitzar sit.
Shalom Yitzad Wasmanch.
Taj. Shalem yitzar wasmanch. Wasman psachra.
Inta Wasman wait. Wasman psashira.
Wasman mapsachla. Wasman mapsachla.
Wasman mapsasha.
Taj. Taj. Wasman psachra.
Inta Wasman psachara.
Wasman. So this is something that a couple of people had trouble with in the last class. When I ask the question, so I'm sorry, you know what? I'm confusing the Eurasian class. So this is something, verbs, they're complex. They're not complicated, they're complex. Complicated things are hard to understand. Complex things have patterns that are easy to understand. We just have to understand the patterns, okay? So in this course, all right, every time I show you a verb, I'm going to show you the verb root, psachla. Now, psachlan is the infinitive form, to speak. Who knows what psachla all by itself means?
To speak. Just
Psachlan as a verb means to speak. What does the word psachla by itself mean? Means something different. Does anybody know?
Is it a command?
No.
Mouth?
I could say qapsachla means speak. Who said noun? Who said noun? Yes, it's a noun. And it means word. It means word. Okay. It could also mean a speech. Like I'm delivering a speech, right? So again, Circassian is easy to understand if you know the patterns, if you know the roots. And so I'm trying to give you guys the patterns and the roots. So here you can see in every case, the verb root, and this is going to be the same for all the verb tables. The verb root is the same. Psasha, 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 never changes. The verb root may get small, right, of the big word, but what you see in blue will never change. Now we have pronouns in Circassian, just like we have in English. I, you, he, she, it. So I is sa, you, singular, is wa, plural is fa. When I say dawa fa shitka, I'm asking you guys, but singular is wa. And then Circassian is a very woke language. We don't have genders, man. You know, he, she, it, ar. Could be a boy, could be a girl. It could be an animal. It could be a human. It could be a inanimate object. It could be a robot. It could be a cyborg. It doesn't matter. Ar, ar. Okay. So in each of these cases, this word psasha, 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 the verb root is the same. Now, when I make a positive statement in the present tense, I'm going to say it again. When I make a positive statement in the present tense, so I'm not negating it. I'm saying it is. I'm not saying it's not, right? Because remember, he doesn't speak. When I make a positive statement in the present tense, I use these prefixes that go with these pronouns. Sa, so, wa, wo, ar, ma, ma. Anytime else, in this case, I'm giving you the question form. If I give you negation in the present tense, if I give you question form in the present tense, if I use future tense, if I use past tense, none of that's here on the screen. But anything other than a positive statement in the present tense, what do? I keep the same verb root, but I use a different prefix. So, sa sopsasha, if I'm asking the question, sa sipsashara. So so becomes si. Wa wopsasha. In question form, wa wopsashara. Now, if you think about this, this would look weird. We don't ever put this sequence of letters together in Circassian, right? So the so becomes s because the S sound is a consonant. That wa is a vowel, right? So it already has a vowel sound in it. So you'll never see in Circassian 100% of the time. This is one of the few things I can say is 100% of the time. You will never see this sequence of letters. We don't write it like that. We just say w, whoopsashara, 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 right? And then here, this is the tricky part. Ar mapsasha, he's speaking. That's the only time a positive statement in the present tense. That's the only time we put ma. If I'm asking you the question, ar psashara, I don't use ma. If I tell you he's not speaking, it's no longer a positive statement. I've negated it. Ar psasharqam. Ar psasharqam. Is he going to speak in the future? Ar psashanu. It's the same verb root. If I say in the past, ar psashash, I don't put the suffix on it because it's not a positive statement in the present tense. If I say I'm going to speak, sa sipsashanu, am I going to speak? I put it in the future tense, but I keep this prefix here. Why? Because I'm doing it in the future. It's not a positive statement in the present. It's a positive statement in the future, but it's not a positive statement in the present. Is this concept clear to everyone? Okay, so.
I have a question, sorry.
Yes.
In answering the question forms on the right, why aren't we using the suffix ra, which you mentioned means right now? So in the left table, why aren't we using ra?
We just don't. We just don't. So.
Okay, no problem. I'm gonna derail.
No, it's a good question. Circassian doesn't have quite this concept of present continuous the way English does, but it has little vestiges of it. So when I say sasopsakla, it's not really present continuous, it's just present. I speak, right? Now in English, we can say, I am speaking. That is present continuous. We don't have that for positive statements in the present tense. But if I say, am I speaking, right? Or do I speak? That's where you see this. So there is this vestige, this something that's very analogous to present continuous tense in English. Am I speaking? Because I would never say in English, I am speak. I am speaking, I can say that, but we don't say it in Circassian. But if I am speaking, like you're interrupting me, am I speaking? Because I'm doing it right now and I'm continuing to do it. Not all verbs have the r ending though. So it gets a little tricky, but it would be very rare, I think, in a positive statement. I can't think of an example off the top of my head where we'd put r at the end of a present contiguous verb statement. Now, there are cases where I can say I am speaking and I am writing. We would use certain things like ri, sa, sopsahri, sotkri. But that's different than the ra, it's ri. I'm doing it and.
All right, so as a general rule, although you mentioned that there are exceptions, the ra occurs in the question form.
Yes.
Only. Okay,
Yes.
got it. Thank you.
Yes. Okay. Grammar class is over, guys. Don't worry. Okay. So, sh'aler mapsatra, sasopsatra, sh'aler psatra. Sh'aler psatra. Sh'aler mapsatra. And we know, is there anybody here who's not comfortable with negation? We covered this in last class. Maydeen, you're the only person who's new to this class. Do you feel comfortable with this concept?
With negation,
Yeah.
could you just, is it what you just talked about before?
So
Or is it something different?
it's well, let's demonstrate it for you and then I'll ask you.
Okay.
So Berzej,
Janti.
Egypto Margarita Psashara.
Awa. Psasharkum.
Egypto Margarita Psasharkum. Psasharkum. Maydeen.
Inta.
Sasa Psashara.
Inta.
Mta. Wawo Psasha. Tell me I'm speaking. It's on the previous page, sorry.
I know, I'm looking. Wawupsasha.
Pej Sasopsasha. Wawo Psasha. Egypto Albert Psashara.
Hawa. Ad. Hawa ad psasha yirkam.
Arp Sasharkum.
Ad
Pej.
sashirkam.
Arp Sasharkum. Arp Sasharkum. Now, some of you, we're going to talk about Kabardian, Eastern dialect, what we're learning here. Some of you may have heard people say Psasha'am, Psasha'am, right? Arp Sasha'am. So what happens, this is acceptable. This is correct. This is not incorrect. In common speech, it's fine to say Arp Sasha'am, Arp Sasha'am, right? We would never spell it like this, but people will say it like this, right? Or some people may say Arp Sasha'am. They might drop the R. So some people will drop the R. Some people will drop the q. Some people will drop both, right? Sasha'am. It always is spelled like this. But for any of you who have heard somebody like Albert, how do you say I don't know? Something, right? That's how my daughter says it. That's how my wife says it. It's acceptable. It's beyond acceptable. It's correct. It's not incorrect. But the way that I would say it is how it's spelled. Sarqum, sarqum, sarqum. But the way Albert would say it, or my wife would say it, or my daughter, or my son, something, something, right? Both are correct. Now, Satanai, what you've probably heard is shut up,
Yeah.
shut up. So
Yeah.
in Western dialect, the qam becomes up. And instead of sar, they say ch, ch. So the sa becomes harder. It becomes ch. And instead of saying urqam, they say up, shut up, shut up. That is your abazak too. So I'm sure you've heard that.
Yeah.
I remember I was 13 years old. I was in Syria, and my mom said, "So how do you like your cousins? Are you getting along with your cousins?" I'm like, I'm not making this up. It's a funny story, but it's a true story. I said, I want to be friends with them, but they're so mean to me. Why are they mean to you? Well, they said they spoke English. I didn't speak Circassian or Arabic at the time. So I said, they all said they speak English, but every time I say something to them, they say, shut up, shut up. I thought they were telling me to shut up. They're saying, I don't know. I don't know. So, all right, guys, miscommunications. That's from last class. And we kind of covered this. Right? Do we want to go through this more? Or do we want to keep going? Do we want more practice with this verb on this page? Or do we want to go to the next page? What do you guys think?
Next.
Next page.
Next page. Is there anybody who wants to stay on this page?
I
Okay.
kind of do.
You kind of do? You know
Yeah.
what? I can hook you up with extra bonus classes. I know some
Oh,
pretty
really?
powerful people in this organization.
I believe it.
Okay. So we are going to go on, but I want to consolidate what we know. Okay. So what I'm going to do, we're going to go into breakout rooms before we go on. Let me stop the share. Let me share this slide or these slides. And what I really want people to do, let's go to slide 13. You can go to any slide you want. But what I want you guys to do in the breakout rooms, I'm going to give you guys 10 minutes. That's a long time. I want you guys in the breakout rooms to try not to use the slides if you don't need to, and force yourself to say as many things about this story as you can. All right. And once you're done, the person who's listening, I want that person to ask you 2 more questions. Right. So I'll give you an example. I'll use Albert as my partner. So let's say it's me and Albert, and let's say Maydeen is in the breakout room with us. She's listening. Listening is a skill. I'm speaking to Albert. I'm going to say what I can. And at the end, he's going to think of 2 additional questions. So, Sasa Shalas, Sasa Terminators, Terminator, Sarah Connor, Mashaqua. Terminator is hunting Sarah Connor. Sasa Terminators, Yichi Sasa Shalas, Sasa Adigas, Sitsar Jantish, Say Egyptsto Subsasha, Albert Egyptsto Psasharqam, Shala Mitsar Wasmanch, Wasmanri Adigas, Albertri Adigas. That's all I remember right now. So, Albert, why don't you ask me 2 questions?
Janti, Hetwa Mashaqwa
Sa Sarah Connor Soshaqwa.
and Sitwa Witzer.
Sa Sitsar Jantish.
Okay, Teres.
So then it would be Albert's turn, and he would push himself to think, what are all the things he can say? What are all the statements he can construct based on what he knows to be true so far, right? And then once he's done, I will ask him a couple of questions, and then it would be Maydeen's turn, right? Everything clear? All right. 14 minus me is 13. I will open 4 rooms. Yeah, 4 rooms. And I'll pause the.
Yeah, I was cut off.
Jonty, you're muted, by the way.
Thank you. Did the breakout room eat Albert?
Yeah, it literally pulled us out even though there was a minute left.
All right. Let me start the recording again. Oh, you know what? I might have recorded everything that happened in the breakout rooms. I'm not sure. Oh, well, we'll figure it out. Welcome back, everyone. Yeah. Oh, there's Albert. Okay. The breakout rooms did not eat you. Okay, cool. Breakout rooms were fun.
Pretty good.
Yeah.
Pej.
Pej. Nejagujat. It was fun. Nejagujat.
Nejaguja.
Is that the word, Maydeen, that you don't like or that your sister doesn't like?
I've never said I don't like it, so maybe it's a mana.
Alright.
I remember we used to play a game called Shrapida.
Habida. Yeah. George, you have a question?
Yeah, how do you say it's someone's turn in Circassian?
Which azur khwash.
Which azur khwash?
Which azur.
Which zur khwash. Okay.
Which azur khwash.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
So what I want to do, I want to consolidate some of the stuff we know, right? And I also want to spell out a couple things that have come up in conversation. So the word for sister, shuph. Whoa. I hate switching back and forth. Shuph. Shuph. Sister. Brother. Delh. Wash. Wash. This came up in some of the breakout rooms, right? So we chazur wash, it's your turn. We chazur wash. Shuph, sister. Delh, brother of a girl. Wash, brother of a boy. I think a couple of other people had some questions. Now I'm just spelling them out so you guys can take notes and see how they're pronounced, how they're said. Was there something else that somebody asked in the breakout room, how we say something or spell something?
John T, maybe you could put Yus'ar.
Aye, that was the other one. Yes, sir. Sitta bi yusr. What is he or she doing? Or it? Yes, George.
So please cut me short if this is like a grammar question or something, but because when you said what's he or she doing, in another class you told me that doing was in Circassian was not transitive, so we used something else, but then you used the one for the transitive in this question. So that's why I'm wondering, like, which one is it for to do? I don't want to be too specific, but
yeah. What's he doing? I'm asking the question, so I end it in sitta bi yusr. What's he doing? I forget what I said in a different class, but this is how you spell it. This is how you say it.
okay, because you told me in another class that when someone does, they just do. They're not changing the state of the thing. But okay, you know what I'm saying.
Yeah, I may have misspoken. I don't recall the situation, but this is correct.
This is how you say it. What's he doing or she?
Sitta bi yusr. What's he doing?
Okay, so that makes sense.
What is abu?
Ab. So ar is he, she, or it. Ab is him, her, or it. But because this verb is transitive, we would use ab instead of ar. That's why we never say ar yitzar. We say ab yitzar, because there's no verb in the statement, but it's understood that he has something, and to have something is transitive.
Understood. Thank you.
All right. Any other statements or things that I've said that people have asked that have come up? I can spell them out here for you guys.
John T,
Yes.
How would you say what are you doing and what am I doing?
What's it? What are you doing?
Okay, I've heard that one before. Sure.
Yeah, sort of. You could you can say sitsar would be better. Sitsar, what am I doing? What's sitsar? What are you doing?
Okay, whoops.
So which? Anything else?
So back to our discussion of how only arises in question forms. What would be the present? What would be the answer to these questions?
Oh, it depends on what you're doing. So it could be any verb under the sun.
Well, can we just say I do blank?
Tell me what you
I'm
want to
doing.
do. Tell me. What's it? What are you doing? Soldier. I'm reading. I'm watching
Okay,
TV.
I was curious about the present positive form of to do.
To do. I'm doing something.
Okay, never mind. It's okay. I expected something related to I don't know.
Yeah. So this is why we're going into this depth of the verbs, because the statement form, the question form, they all change a little bit. So for example, if I were to say to Berzej, ask me if I have my keys. So that's how one way you could say it. You could also say, I have my keys. But if you were to ask me, do you have your keys? So there's some verbs where the question form and the statement form, those prefixes we talked about, we swap out a P for them. So I'm doing something. What are you doing? What are you doing? So in the question form, that comes out and it becomes replaced with P.
Oh, so actually sosh and yishar are actually, they have
So the
same...
verb root, here,
yeah.
Remember how I said the verb root never changes, but it might get small?
Okay.
That's the verb root.
Got it. Okay.
This is the verb root. That's the verb root.
All right, that helps.
Yep.
Thanks.
You're welcome.
Can you say Sasaguera Sosha?
Sazaguarsos. I'm doing something. Sazaguarsos. Sazaguarsosa. I know something.
Oh, yeah.
Sosa. I know something. Sos. I'm doing something.
Thank you. Yeah.
Okay. All right, everybody take their notes. This is all in the slides. Right? So all these things are here. And most of the time, all the time, the slides are, everything's transliterated. But when I do stuff like this, I'm not going to transliterate. It's just too much time. You guys can take notes. You guys can refer back to the slides. Okay. Class.
Sit.
Aller sich hatch up Sathera. Sich hatch up Sathera.
Arhuish.
Arhuish. So what does it mean when I say sich hatch? Why? Margarita, do you remember the word for head?
It's in there. I don't.
It's the part that's not underlined.
Okay. Sha.
Sha,
Sha. Mm.
sha, okay? And Ola, what does the word, how do I say what in Circassian?
Kit. Oh,
Sit.
no. Sit.
Sit. Sit. And Albert, what does it mean when I add the suffix cha to something?
It's along with,
By means of.
I mean, so.
By means of, okay? So when I ask why, this is weird, but when I ask why in Circassian, I'm saying, what head with? What head with? Where's your head at? Why? And if you ever speak to a native speaker, the youngest native speaker I know is my 4-year-old daughter. She doesn't even bother. She goes, cha, cha, cha. Why? Like, it's like if somebody says in English, come on, come on. They don't say come on, come on, let's go, right? Let's go. There's no T in let's go. Let's go, let's go, let's go. So it's kind of common there. Cha, 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 baba, cha. In her mind, she knows what the word for head is, but she knows sachacha, and she just says cha, cha, baba, cha, produpsas. So, why is the boy speaking? So this is another verb. We're not going to go in depth into this verb, but we're going to learn, but the pattern will be easy. So Margarita, what's this verb root that I just highlighted?
Wish.
Wish, wish. So sa wish, sa wish, sa psalenu wish. I want to talk. Sa psalenu wish. Ola yijibstu psalenu huekum. Huekum. So what did I just say, Ola?
Ola's not talking.
Ola-
Ola doesn't want to talk now.
Correct, correct. Maydeen.
So I see on the thing it says you want wohue, right? I've heard in our house we just say wohue.
Wuhue. Mhm.
Is that
It's just
like,
children speak.
oh, is that okay to say though?
Yeah, it's not, I shouldn't say it's children speak. It's just like kitchen table talk.
Like it's not, it's just shorter.
It's shorter. So like if I say, do you know? Do you know? If I say, like we speak English natively, right? In my house, when you come visit, we speak Circassian natively. So for anybody who speaks English natively, right, you might say, hang on. Do you know? Right? Now, if we were in a textbook, do you know? But we say, do you know? Do you know what I'm talking about? Right? Zanshawa, you have a question.
Yeah, so when you have the two verbs together, so like the boy wants to speak, I know the to speak that goes in the middle, and is that always going to be like with the u at the end?
Yes.
Like if it was like he wants to, I want to, it'd be sahlanu.
Well, yeah, so let's talk about that. So just like in English, and so hue is actually a very useful verb. And I'm going to tell you why. First of all, it's useful. We all want things, right? We all want things. But the reason also that it's helpful, there's some complexity to the verb conjugation, right? But hue is actually a very simple verb. And just like English, I want, infinitive form of verb. I want to speak. I want to go. Now think of go as an example in English. I went. You went. I go. How do you go from went to go? That is a completely irregular verb. I ran. I run. How do you get ran from run? Why is it not runned? Now, we don't really have irregular verbs in Circassian, and I'm just using these English forms as an example. If you're learning English, that's a lot of stuff to learn. I goed. I went. I runned. I ran. I eated. I ate. Those are very common verbs and they're all irregular. So again, in Circassian, we don't have irregular verbs. We have patterns. The patterns are complex, but they're not complicated. English verbs are not complicated. They're not complex, but they are complicated. There's no pattern to them. There's no obvious pattern to them. So the reason that I like to teach the word hue is if you know to talk, we put it in the future, right? Then I don't have to learn. If I learn hue, I don't need to learn or mess around with all the conjugation of all these other verbs in Circassian, right? So let's use the example here. Sa sop satla, wo wop satla, adam up satla, ba ba ba, so wo mo ma. That's a lot to learn. Ar huesh satlano, wo huesh satlano, sa huesh satlano.
Are you
Right.
asking, do you want to speak?
No, I'm saying I'm making a statement for him. I'm not
Oh,
asking a
okay.
question for him. Okay. So when we do it, though, we're always going to put it into the future tense. And Circassian tenses, verb tenses are very, very easy. They're all regular. They're all easy. Okay. Sopsasha is present positive statement. How do I say, Rakan, how do I say, am I speaking? Sasapsashara, right? So the soul becomes s. So if I want, now I use that because it's not a positive present tense statement. I keep using s. Sa sipsachanos. I'm going to talk. Sa sipsachash. I spoke. I talked. Sa sipsachanos. I'm going to talk. Sa sipsachash. I spoke. I talked. Wa whoopsachanos. You're going to talk. Wa whoopsachash. You spoke. You talked. Ar psachanos. Ar psachash. He's going to speak. He spoke. He's going to talk. He talked. Right? So if I says sessuish, sa psachenu suhuish, I want to talk. Wa psachenu wuhuish, you want to talk. You're going to do it in the future. You're not doing it right now. Right? If you were doing it right now, you wouldn't want to do it. You are doing it. Yes, Maydeen.
Sorry for the question again, but I was wondering how you ask someone how old they are.
Dapsha we nibzur. Dapsha, how much?
Dapsha.
Dapsha means how much or how many.
Mhm.
Dapsha, we nibzur. We
Dapsha, we nizjud,
we nibzur.
we nibjud.
Nibj is age. Nibzur is the age, but that's how we say in Circassian. How much is your the age?
So it's Dapsha, we nibjud.
Yep.
Okay, thank you.
You could also Dapsui nibzur, you could also say Dapsui nibzur is easier. You could also say Dapsura. How many years do you have? We nibzur Dapsha. We nibzur Dapsha is probably easier.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. All right. So sasahuish, wowahuish, arhuish. Right? We get this. Nur.
Sijanti.
Shalar psachara.
Shalar psachra.
Sichhacha.
Psachlen huish.
Psachlen huish. Psachlen huish. Shalar psachlen huish.
Shalar psachlen huish.
Sarah.
Sijanti.
Wo psachara.
And sasapsatla.
Sichhacha.
Sasachwish.
Wo huish wo psachleno. Mta? Satanai. Sarah psachla. Did she speak? Sarah psachla.
Nta, sarap,
Sathash. Sarab Sathash. She spoke.
sarap saslash.
Such hacha. Quish.
Quish.
Sarah Quish. She wants to talk. Farah. Whoops, Sathanowe.
Hawa. Sa Sibhara.
Was it?
I thought you were asking me if I want to talk, and I wanted to negate that and say I didn't.
Suhwekum.
Sahwekum.
Sa Sathano Suhwekum.
Sa Sabhanu Sahwekum.
George.
Is Janti?
Had Egypt stoop Sathara?
Egypto sa subsahia.
Yijirisha?
Saraj subsahia Egypto.
Yijirisha? Who else? Yijirisha?
What?
Subsahia.
Wari wopsahia.
That's Sari Subsahia.
The subsahia.
There's Obsahia. Such
Uh-huh.
hacha. Such hacha.
The which?
The quiz.
The
quiz.
The
The
quiz.
quiz. Now you see, I never told George how to say we want, but he thought, remember I told him, why are we going through all these verbs? The dopsasha. He figured out all by himself, the wish, we want to, right? It just comes naturally. Rakan,
Sit.
we have kwashramits are sit.
Sikwash.
We kwashram yits are sit.
Quasham. Sikwash.
Mhm.
Sikwash yitzer rad.
We kwashram yits are rad. Rad yijib stoop sashra.
Hawa.
Khat yijib stoop sashra.
Yijibsu sa sasha.
Wo psasha yijib stoop. Mta paj. Wa such hacha wopsashra.
Sa sikwish.
Wo-wish. Psashla no wo-wish. I'm not always going to go by what's on the screen. I'm gonna call back. I know you have a brother now, so that's part of the storytelling process, right? I'm gonna make it real. Remember, guys, language is a communication tool. It's not a subject we study. It's something we use. It's something we use to talk to people that we want to talk to. Yes, Maydeen.
So I just thought of something. So if somebody were to ask you dawashit, right?
Mhm.
And you were like, what if you're having a bad day? Would you say sasib zajash?
No. You would say simakur shawakum.
Si makwa shakurum?
You know what? Easier. Simakur ish. Bad. I'm having a bad day.
Ish.
Ish. Ish.
Ish. Okay.
A. So, A. A.
Okay.
Not ish. I'm having a bad day. My day is bad.
Makwa ish. Okay. Thank
Okay.
you.
So we're going to leave it here. The official class is over. Don't worry, Ola. I'm going to answer your question. But when we pick up, we'll pick up with this sichhacha, right? Sichhacha. And again, part of what I'm trying to teach you guys is what you would say if somebody were to meet you. What's your name? Where are you from? We haven't covered that in this class yet, but we covered it last semester. Do you have a mother? Do you have a father? What they're asking is are they alive? And I'll teach you the verb for alive as well. Everyone has a mother and father, right? Do you have a mother? Do you have a father? What are their names? Do you have a brother? Do you have a sister? What are their names, right? Do you want something? Why? So I'm trying to teach you guys these basic building blocks that if you're in Circassian culture, these are things you would hear or ask on a very regular basis. Now, Ola asked a question. And by the way, if anybody needs to leave, that's fine. You don't have to be, formal class is over. You're not being rude. This is kind of bonus time. So Ola asked the question, why? And that's a loaded question because there's lots of ways to, I'm sorry, because. So give me the statement you're trying to tell, and I'll tell you the right way to say because.
No, I just thought about it. It's like when you say why you're speaking, if I want to say dadupsatanu, wait, or dapsatanu de wish. Can I say, yeah, does that make sense?
Yeah. So again, oh, great. Again, Ola is intuiting the structure of the verbs, even though we've never covered this. Dipsethenu de wish.
Dipsethenu de wish.
Dipsethenu de wish. We want to speak. And you're using a more complex form. Remember, in this class, and for anybody who's made it, an hour and a half into the video, I'm not teaching you anything wrong. I teach you simple. And then we start to build. So you've intuitively figured out the dipsethenu de wish. We want to talk.
So I was just thinking if I want to start it with because, so say the word and then say that because dipsethenu de wish.
So we wouldn't do that in Circassian. And when you get to a certain language and when you get to a certain point in learning any language, when you first start off, what happens is, and this is normal, every human being does this. What you do is you take the grammar and the word structure of the language that you know, and you start to drop other things. You start to drop vocabulary from the language that you're learning. You're bilingual, at least, maybe more. You know what I'm talking about. You start to take the word structures that you know in the existing language, and you start to drop vocabulary into it. And that doesn't always work because we want to speak because we want to, or I can't think. We want to speak because it's fun. That verb, that word, not verb, it's actually a particle. Is it a particle? It's a conjunction. That word because, there is a word because, it's used in very specific contexts. It's kind of a rare word. The word is kakachcha. There's two ch in it. Kakachcha. We wouldn't use it in this case. What you can do if you, and it wouldn't be normal to say because. We would say, we want to talk. But what you can do, if you're trying to show a relationship between one verb and another, I was tired. No, let me think. I was tired because I ran. I was tired because I worked, right? Silajashi, sezashat. So what we do is silajashi, I worked, silajash, I worked. We add that E to the end of it. Silajashi, what did I say? I'm tired. Silajashi.
Because I ran. No,
I'm sorry. I'm tired now because I woke up at 5:30 this morning. What am I saying? I'm trying to switch languages. Silajashi, sezashash. I'm sezashash, I'm tired. Sezashash, I'm tired. Silajash, I worked. I'm tired because I worked. Silajashi, sezashash. I'm tired because I worked. So we can connect two things, which would translate to because. We can connect two things using because, but we wouldn't, like in English, why do you want that? Because I want it. We don't have this abstract concept of because.
Yeah.
We do have a connection, I'm tired because I worked, right? But then we flip the order. Silajashi, sezashash. I worked and so I'm tired. I'm tired because I worked.
Got it. Thank you.
You're welcome. Any other thoughts, questions as we wrap up the class?
I have a really quick question. Sorry, Barzosh, you can go first.
After you, Sam.
Ladies first.
Hope so. I think you may have already mentioned this, but is the word for brother delch or sikosh? Because I heard both.
Yeah. So the word for brother for a boy is gwash. And let me share my screen again because I'm looking at it. So the word for brother for a boy is wash, wash. The word for brother for a girl is dej, dej. So this can be hard, right? The, we all know how to say the. This here is hua, hua, huaba, hot, hua, hua, wish, want, hua. This is a little hard for some of you, right? This sound only exists, as far as I know, in Circassian and Irish. I think George said it might exist in some native language in Canada as well. So,
in Nahuatl in Mexico, it's there's the
right.
stop version of that.
Yeah.
Like not but just
yeah. Which that's the one, because we have that sound too. So then when you put them all together, right? And then you said before Sarah si, so siwash is my brother. You are a girl, so if you have a brother, you would say sidej. Okay, so I think Berzej had a question, then we'll go to George.
Yeah, not a question. I just thought I wanted to bring it up. So sichacha, and you mentioned that your daughter says shha, but alone as like a shortcut.
Yeah.
And I found that funny because in Abzah, we say ha for y. And I only learned sichacha during this class, so I felt like that's the shortest version of it. It's ha, hapsha, you know? Like, so yeah, I just wanted to bring that up. Like, it's just the shortest version of sichachas, is what we say.
Thank you. Thank you for sharing. Hey, ask me if I know how to say what in Abazak.
Ask me English. What?
Shut up. All right, George, you have a question?
It's more like a comment to add on to something. So you said that the sh sound existed in Irish. It's actually in Welsh, in another Celtic language, not in Irish, but in Welsh. Just wanted to point that out.
Cool.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you. All right, everyone. Any other questions, comments, concerns? No medical advice, no relationship advice, but anything, grammar, vocabulary, all fair game. Going once.
I was kind of wondering how to say like emotions, like I'm happy, I'm sad, I'm angry, unless that's we'll like cover later.
Not sure if there's a word. So I'm not sure if there's a word for emotions per se. Emotions is a little bit of an abstract. Give me a second here. That's a good question. I know the actual emotions themselves. Give me a second. Emotion.
We don't talk about emotions.
We don't talk about emotions. You know, I think Freud said that the Irish were impervious to psychoanalysis. He never met a Circassian. Give me a second. I don't think so. You know, in old Circassian culture, in fact, well, yeah, we have a feeling, gursa, the knowledge of your heart, gursa. In old Circassian culture, when a father, and when I say old, I'm talking as recently as 100 years ago, when a father had a boy, it was very common to give that boy to a relative or a close family to be raised. In the old tradition, there's two traditions behind this. One is so that the boy would feel connected to the community. And this was most common with pse or work. So we used to have a caste system. So it was most common with the royals, the princes, the pse or the work, which are kind of like barons, for them to give their children to the commoners to be raised. So the child of the, you know, when I say royalty, we're talking a village of 200 people. Like he was the prince of the village. But so that the child will feel connected and bonded to the people who are doing the work of the village. But the other reason that that was the case is so that in time of battle, the father could send his son into battle to die equal to any other soldier. That's the austerity of Circassian. So gursa would be feeling. It would be the closest word we have to emotion, the knowledge of your heart. Gur yisa, gursa, the feeling of your heart, the emotion, feelings. And then so I'm happy. So let me put this on the screen for you guys. Hang on. Why am I doing this? You know what? You know what's funny about people on the internet? I make spelling mistakes in English all the time. No one bats an eye. I leave one letter out of a 38 word long word, and people go apeshit on the internet. So, ursa, feeling. Okay. And then if I were to say I'm happy, so we wouldn't use emotions in the abstract, right? There's no word for happiness. In fact, what we have more verbs than we have nouns in Circassian, or not more, but the ratio of verbs to nouns is different than it is in, other more modern language. So if I say I'm happy, so gufa. So gufa. I am happy. Sa se nash khish. Nash. Hang on. Nash khish. Sa se nash khish. I am sad. Sa se zashash. I'm tired. Sarufa. Arufa. Let me check this. Karufa. I think that's correct, but let me just check it. I'm pretty sure that's correct. Arufa. So, sasa wufa, I'm happy. Sasa nashkhish, I'm sad. Sasa zashash, I'm tired. Sasa arwufash, I feel energetic. Any other major emotions?
Can you say how to say the one with sad again?
Sa Sinashkhish.
Okay.
Sinashkhish. What else is there? I'm happy. I mean, there's lots of emotions, but these are.
I'm worried.
I'm worried.
How about angry?
Okay. Sa. Am I in Russian? Hang on. I'm worried. Sa Suguzava. It's been a long day and I'm staring at a Russian keyboard looking for. Hang on a second. I have to look away for a minute because my keyboard has both sets of letters on it. And I've been up since 5 a.m. Zava. Why am I not finding it? Where's the V? There we go. So, Wursa, feeling. Sasagufa, so is the prefix. Gua means heart. Means good. I'm good-hearted. Sasagufa, I'm happy. I'm good-hearted. Right? Sasanashkhesh, I don't know. I'm sure there's word roots here. I just don't know what they are. I'm pretty sure this is two Y's here. I'm pretty sure this is spelled properly. Or, you know what, just to make sure I'm not giving you any spelling mistakes, I could just say sa سقروسياش. I am energetic. I have energy. سقروسياش. I have a lot of energy. سسقزava. سسقزava. I'm worried. Okay, so okay. Yashin means to be tired. Says a shash, I am tired. I have become tired. Right, really, I have become tired. Saqarusiash, I have energy. Sa, so, we've seen this. So, sopsatha, right? We've seen these verb roots. It's not a verb. It's not a verb. But sa, so, gu, my heart, my heart. Ven means to vibrate. Sasuguzava, my heart is vibrating. I'm worried. Sasuguzava. And then sa, si jarwa. Jarwa is anger. Si jarwa, huash, it has become. My anger has become. Sa si jarwa huash. So my 4-year-old, Baba, afacha doesn't abjokum. Sissy jawash. Baba, she calls me Baba. Afacha anymore. Doesn't abjokum. We're not friends anymore. Si jawash. I'm angry. Then she runs into her room and slams her door like a 22-year-old girl. Any other major emotions? I'm embarrassed. So I'm embarrassed, I'm shy, I'm anxious. I am shy or embarrassed. These are the major ones. Anything else do you guys want to know?
What about scared?
Let me just check the spelling of scared. Give me a second. Yeah.
Does shina mean fear?
Shina means fear.
Okay.
Well, shina. So whenever I put my son to sleep, Baba, Baba, shina, he's scared of the dark. Yeah. Shina. All right, guys. Last chance for any more emotions or questions. Going once. Going twice. All right, sold. I will see you guys on Friday. No, I will see you guys on Monday. Today's Wednesday. I'll see you guys on Monday. All these slides, both classes have the same set of slides. They asked different questions. So we went through the Zopsasha. In this class, we went through this. We chazur huash. It's your turn. We chazur huash. Yes, it's my turn, right? Lots of stuff we can do there. What else? And we went through all these emotions. So everything's there. And when we get into next class, we'll keep going through that kind of stuff. All right, guys. You have a wonderful rest of your week. I will see you or speak to you soon.
So, John T.
Thank you.
Yeshua.
Show.